Welcome, Tim.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us. It's gonna get serious. So, I wanted to, since we're basically wrapping up the 2 days of filming that we did with you, I want to go over your thoughts about this whole filming setup and how you think it went in general.
I think it went well. We did everything. We were in a controlled environment here at my place, so we had everything that we needed. We inside of a shop with good lighting where we could do the cinematic stuff and everything, and just, it was kind of low pressure, if you will, because I've been out in the wild doing filming with Pierre, and it can get kind of hectic. It can be, you kind of be a little sketchy, dealing with moving equipment all around, but
it is.
I feel like everything went very well. We had a meeting beforehand. I feel like that, it makes it a little bit easier because I do film every day.
Yeah, I could tell. You're used to having cameras around you and filming yourself. Like, we had other people film before. I mean, they were doing great, but still they're no actors. So we would tell you like, hey, we would like this type of scene, and you would just get it right away, and first shot would be like almost perfect if it wasn't from Vincent doing it wrong.
And so I'm in front of the camera, and and I know what I would want as far as different shots, like where I was moving a grapple, working a grapple, rotating it in here. That would be stuff that I would want. So I made it easy for these guys here and for Catherine to do it. But I enjoyed it. I enjoy helping promote Rotobec, putting their products out there and doing whatever I need to do to help Rotobec out.
Because you've been working with Rotobec products for a while. Do you want to go over a little bit of your history with our products?
I started, my first Rotobec was in 2008. I had been down, we were fixing to buy a new John Deere log loader, and I had been down and ran a John Deere log loader at Sugarlock, Mississippi down there, and it had a Rotobec on it. And I really liked it. I liked it a lot. I liked it to the point where when I got back, I told my dad, I said, whatever we order, this is what I want to get. I want to get a Rotobec, a 4552 to go on my machine. That was in 2008, and it went from there, and the YouTube stuff started for me in 2009, filming, posting videos of it, and then had a little bit of a lapse, and in 2014 is when I started teaching myself how to edit. I could film. I was really good with pictures. I used to do photography and everything for money, and kind of transitioned over into the actual filming to where I could start posting to YouTube, taught myself how to self-edit, and then it just kind of went from there. I was filming what I did day to day, logging, and whatever I did, whether it was logging, hunting, fishing, or traveling, or going to eat, or anything. But everything in my life revolved mainly around what I did, which was work. That's what we all do, is work for the most part. And so I was contacted by Alan first and talked to him, and then ended up meeting Pierre at one of the logging shows and all, and everything just kind of meshed together. It kind of worked, and it just, if there's something out there that I really like and I believe in, I'm going to show it, I'm going to tell it and push it.
So you have a lot of common values with our company. I feel like family values. You're a family man. Do you want to talk a little bit about your family and your background?
I grew up, all I've ever done is work. I'm the oldest of 4 siblings. And my dad started logging back in the 70s. And so I grew up from an early age on tractors, equipment, doing different things. Some of my earliest recollections were, 9, 10 years old. I'm in my 50s now. I have put an incredible amount of hours on machines, no matter what it is, through, tractors, backhoes, skid steers, excavators, you name it, just everything that I have ran over the years. And I did production logging with my dad. We have a logging company And I ended up working for him for over 32 years full time. About 38 if you count the years while I was still in high school working. So I've seen logging come from all hands-on type of stuff, chainsaws, hand felling, and I've seen it revolve all the way up to the fully mechanization that it's been the last 15 or 20 years or so. And I've been a part of that, and I've seen a lot of struggles. I lived it my whole life. And my thing is, I've always been attracted to equipment, to machinery, to metal, fabrication. And that's one thing that I really like about Rotobec is everything Rotobec does, they build in-house. In the fabrication part of it, and I've been to Littleton, Groveton, St. Justine to ink up there to the headquarters. And just, I appreciate that stuff. I appreciate what it takes to put something like this together, to bend it, to take a flat piece of metal and do that. And I do that here in my shop sometimes, build stuff, make stuff. But my attraction to heavy equipment is just unmeasurable. And I love sitting in the seat of things, running it to its full potential, making it do what I want it to do, and then make me money in return. And I guess, you know, it's something that it just does not get old to me. I'd rather be sitting in the machine doing something than I would anything else, you know. So it's just, it's a passion.
I think your audience can tell you're passionate about your work.
And if you're passionate about something, you know, you don't realize it as work, you know. And it's just something that's always really got me going.
That's great. And you want to talk about how it was working with your dad and transitioning into your own company and your own service, because he was doing logging, right? And you're in tree care. So that's similar but different, I feel like.
So back in high school, I was doing tree work. I kind of what I would say hustled tree work on the side. And I did that through there all the way up to now. And so I just kind of did it as a sideline job, you know, after work or on the weekends or something. And working with my dad in the woods with the experience in different logging equipment, dealers, different mechanics, it set me up to where I am now. I can look at something, and I remember the first time I ever seen a mini PC grapple. I was traveling with Pierre with Rotobec, went up to Bangor, Maine. I didn't know Rotobec made a mini PC grapple I knew they made RPAs, which is basically a mini PC. It's just a little bit larger version. It's for bigger excavators, you know. And I didn't know they made it for a mini excavator. And I'm walking around, we had set the show up, and you know, once the show starts, you're locked into the booth. You can't go anywhere. So we got the booth set up. So I started perusing. Jill and I were running around, and we went by one of the booths, and they had a Yanmar, and they had a mini PC grapple on a 55 Yanmar. And I did a double take on that thing, and I was like, holy cow. And Wayne came walking by. He came walking by, and I said, Wayne, I said, y'all make them too? You know, and he said, oh yeah, we make them, you know. And I looked at it, and I was like, you know, in tree work, that would be the end all of be all for cleaning up stuff. And so it goes back to my logging experience working for my dad. When I seen that grapple, I was like, this will work. This is what I need. I need this thing. I got one. That was in 19, and in less than a year later, I had my PCO 18 delivered and had it on my Kubota out there that I have now. And currently I have over 2,000 hours on that thing on the Kubota, and I've put nearly 2,000 hours on the Rotobec. I knew it would work, and going back talking about the experience, it set everything on fire for me as far as production. I mean, it just, feeding a chipper, loading debris, cleaning up debris, just made it so fast. I even developed and built a rake myself that's 5 foot wide that allows me to, when I get through, I grab it with a grapple and I use it like a giant yard rake. So I can sweep out a yard in a matter of minutes, you know, debris, just sweep it up. I bring it up in a pile just like you're sweeping up a house floor. And then I drop the rake, just set it on the ground. And then I pick up the stuff and throw it in the trailer. The old saying, time is money. Time is money. The quicker you can get in and get a job done, and the quicker you can get out, the more money you can put in your pocket. And you can do that with the Rotobec products, especially if you're in a tree care, debris care, storm damage stuff. Really, really beneficial on that.
And now that you have one with a saw on it, it's even like...
It's in a different atmosphere now.
Wow.
It's put me in a different atmosphere. So I have so many options. And with the saw, in a good operator, you're only limited by your imagination of what you can do, what your potential is. You can put a good operator and pair it with this setup with a saw, and you can work magic. You can work magic. You can generate a lot of income safely.
And you want to talk a little bit about like your personal life? You have a wife, children. What do they do? Because do they want to be in the tree care business or?
Well, I've been married. This is going to be my 30th year of marriage.
Congrats.
That's right. And we've been together for over 30 years now. And we got 2 kids. I've got a daughter that's fixing to be 25, just recently got married back in March. And so we got a son-in-law now. My youngest daughter is at Mississippi State University. She's fixing to be a junior over there. So you asked, do they want to be in a tree care? No, they just, they're doing their own thing. My oldest daughter's working full time. My wife works at the university. My wife is about to where she can retire and walk away from her state job, and because she has kind of her own thing going too, and it's going to allow her with what I do with Cotton Top 3 Tree and Stump Service to help me as far as behind the scenes on some of my stuff, invoices, quotes, and things such as that. So
because right now you're a one-man show, basically.
I'm doing it, yes, probably 90% of what I do I'm doing by myself. I have some guys that can kind of help me part-time, but I have set myself up. It's all about equipment. It's what can make it. You got the right kind of equipment. One man, one person can do so much with the right stuff. And again, that goes back to the main heart of my entire operation since 2020, March of 2020, has been the Rotobec Mini PC. The PC018, which is the smallest one of the Rotobec grapples, the PC grapples. And people ask me all the time, do they make them smaller or larger? The PC018 is the smallest. It's the smallest out of 6 sizes. The PC025, which is this one, is the next up. And they make it from that all the way up to where one will fit on a 100,000-pound machine. The 6100 comes in about 6,000 and some odd pounds. It opens up to like 8 foot tine to tine. So it's a huge grapple. And you can put saws on all of them except for the 018. You can pair it. And once you get into the larger grapples, you can put the 750 size saw on it because it takes more flow, it's more horsepower engine motor, a more horsepower motor on that saw, so it takes more flow.
And I'm curious, what was your audience perspective when you got that new grapple delivered and see you starting to work with it? What was the response from the audience?
The whole time I've had the 018 grapple, people saying, they ask, can you get a saw on it? Can you get a saw on it? Well, on that size machine, you're kind of limited because you're limited on the capacity of what the machine can handle, whether weight-wise or hydraulic-wise or anything. And I had gotten word over a year ago, that it was in the works to put a saw on a grapple. And then I got the criteria, what it was going to be is going to have to be on an 80 size machine. And so the people that had been asking, I was thinking, well, here it is. It's coming quick, fast, in a hurry. And then was contacted by you and said, hey, we've got the new grapple, are you interested in one, kind of deal. Brings us to where we're at now.
we gotta say it. It's really more expensive than the one you had previously with all the saw on. And we, as a company, we were worried that people wouldn't be maybe interested in paying that high price that comes with having that tool.
Right. And when I got it, when I first started showing it, you know, like you said, the price is a lot more than a regular grapple. When you add the saw to it, it's a lot more. And when I first got it, and I was uncertain how it was going to be received, but the way it ran, I mean, I knew it was going to be good. And the first couple of videos, people just exploded about it. They were enamored about how well it worked and how well it ran and what it would do, and just blown away by the performance of it. And you know, I remember after it had been about 10 days, I had talked to somebody at Rotobec, and they said, you know, we had 8 orders that come in the first week that you posted the videos. And then I talked to John and John Kinney that's out on the West Coast out there. And I was talking to him, sharing with him, I said, you know, I wasn't really sure how it was going to go over as far as, because it's a more expensive grapple, you know, with the saw. But I told him, I said, you know, it seems like it's going to be far more, even far better than the 018 went over, because I can do other stuff with it. And I think really helped me was my experience logging and running other saws on mechanical saws, hydraulic saws on equipment, being able to do some of the tricks that I can do with it. So there wasn't really no learning curve there for me to kind of figure out. I just needed to get it on the machine and mount it and plumbed up.
Remember when I came to you with the, because basically as marketing, engineering comes to me and they're like, we need a name for the product. And I'm like, isn't it a mini PC with a saw? Yeah. And they're like, no, we want something sexier. And I was brainstorming, and at some point, it's the filming crew we're working with that I was talking to them about filming that product, and I'm like, we don't have a name for it yet. Like, and we started brainstorming, and he got the idea where, why don't you ask Tim, his audience, like, he's gonna have one, ask them to name it. And I want to know, what was your thought process when I came to you with that idea?
So the engineering came, they wanted a name for it then, correct? And
yeah.
Well, I was surprised. I mean, when you contacted me first and said we need a name, of course, you know, all of my stuff I kind of name, because everything with social media goes about involving the audience in it. If you can involve the audience and it's good stuff, they want to be involved. They want to be involved. People work hard. They want to come in. They want to be entertained. They want to kind of feel like they're involved on doing something. Came to me, I can't remember if it was a call or text or an email when you send it out, because we've had so much communication, you know, and you said something about it, I'm like, bingo, that's perfect, because it will involve the audience in it. And it almost, you look back and you think, well, is it kind of silly or not? But it's not. It's because you're involving them. We got on a Teams meeting and we did a video back and forth with me and Mark, you know, talking about it, and got involved in it. And I was really surprised and impressed about the amount of traction that gathered. And the thing about social media is, where there's the most fire, there's going to be the most smoke. And so the algorithm and all that stuff kind of kicks in, you know, and you get all that traffic going back and forth online, you know, coming through YouTube and then y'all's website, and you can track all that stuff, you know, and it's just like going to the shows, you know, where you're there in person doing the live stuff and everything, having people come through, because that's what it's all about. You never know when you're planting a seed that you may not see it grow right then in front of you, but later on down the road, somebody may get in business like I am, and they think, hey, I remember Rotobec. I remember Rotobec. So you never know what you do today may blossom and flourish later on down the road, and that's what it's all about. But What'd you say y'all had about 200 entries on that?
200 entries, and each entry had mostly more than one suggestion.
Sure.
So it was like to review all of those suggestions. A lot of people wanted to name it Tim O'Brien,
Right,
by the
right.
way, or Cotton Top Grapple, or
Yeah.
something like that.
And see, I didn't want it to be anything that tied it direct to Cotton Top 3. Because, I mean, y'all are Rotobec, I'm Cotton Top 3. And I didn't want to be selfish in that aspect or anything, even though, because everybody relates me to with y'all. And I was in my shop in here working, and you sent the list. I think there was 11 on it. I had Gabe in here. He's 16 years old. He helps me sometimes. And I read through the list. And so you told me to pick out 3 and read through those things. And me and Gabe, we were discussing it, and you know, I picked out the 3, and then I got it back to y'all. And then I was out of it at that point. I just picked out my 3 favorite. And y'all, how many people did y'all have there at Rotobec that was kind of working?
I wanted a not pair number just to be sure. So I think we were, including you, we were 5 that we did our top 3.
Right.
And then the Limb Reaper just came out.
Yeah. And so it put me out of the equation. I put my 3 that I liked and sent it back. And then within a day, then you got back with me and you said, Limb Reaper, it is. And it was so fitting for it, because then that started my creative wheels turning as far as lettering the thing and getting that done. And I have a really good lady that I work with that has a sign shop here locally. And I told her my ideas. And it's one of those things, if you got somebody really creative like these guys here that are running the cameras and everything, you just kind of give them a baseline and then let them go. Because they can do stuff that you may not see. And so she comes up with the fonts on it and all that, and she kind of knows my deal, knows my history. I've worked with her a long time, to where we got it lettered up, you know, like we did.
And she did awesome.
Yeah, and so I wanted to put something, even going back to the banners that I've got hanging out there, you know, it to me, like having y'all come in and feeling welcome, and like, it's not just like I'm here just doing this or anything. You know, I didn't say anything to you. I wish I'd have been sitting in the car with y'all when y'all turned over. I know that it just, when you top that hill, I bet the smile, you know, you just smile real big as you come in, you know, and just trying to make you feel as welcome.
Oh, we do feel welcome. Honestly, thank you so much for having us those 2 days. It's a lot of work for you to have us coming over, taking all that time for us, doing takes and takes and takes.
Oh, yeah, right.
Just to be sure we have the right angle.
Did somebody forget to turn the camera on?
But yeah, I really appreciate you having us. And I hope we'll redo it with maybe another future version of this thing.
Sure.
Of this thing.
Oh yeah, this thing. Yeah.
I'm getting Southern by the day.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah, I'm game on anything Rotobec wants to do. Jill and I have traveled all over the place with Rotobec. We've been out west with them to Eugene, to the Oregon Logging Conference, been to Bangor, to the logging show up there, been to Arkansas, the logging show there, then was at Littleton, Groveton, and Inc. We were gone for 11 days one time, and so the history goes back a long time, and it's been a lot of fun, a lot of great memories. The trip to Inc. was very cool. I enjoyed that because, like I said, I'm very involved. I love metal and
there's only that.
There is it, and
it's
so it's taking a sheet of metal and turning it into something. And walking through the engineering department, but not only the engineering department, but like the quality check department with the instruments and things that they had there at their fingertips to be able to check stuff, to make sure it was perfect and in spec, was just crazy. I mean, y'all build your own cylinders. I mean, you build, and that way you can control your own destiny. You know, so if there's a problem, y'all fix it. You know, I mean, really about the only thing, like the rotator motors that are outsourced, you know, that are brought in, And I mean, that's about it. I mean, the biggest majority of the grapple is built itself. And Holdings builds the saw, and y'all have had a relationship for them with forever. They know saws. They know how to make saws work. Y'all know how to install them on your product and then make them work. And it's just kind of one of those things. It's a perfect match, you know, as far as that goes. But just crazy walking in the doors at Inc. and being so welcome. And a lot of people watch there are guys and girls there that had hands in building this thing. And so they watch my videos and they can say that's Tim's grapple that we built. We painted it. I installed that line in there on that thing. I did that, you know, talking about them and seeing it come and then seeing it like they don't have a stage, you know, and so I get it out there, and every now and then I'll have somebody that works for one of the companies. They'll comment, you know, and they'll mention something. And but you know, Rotobec's in good hands. You're a granddaughter of the founder, and so you're very intermixed in there over all the marketing and good stuff. Very good stuff.
I'm curious, since you've been physically at the factory during the real factory tour, and you watched the YouTube series, right?
Yeah, I did.
Do you feel like somebody that maybe cannot go to Canada can like have a similar-ish experience? I know it's not as hands-on, and what, like, I wanted to know your thoughts comparing the two of them.
Oh, sure. Yeah, somebody could go and have the same experience and see what all goes on, you know, in there, kind of behind the scenes, because a lot of times people see this stuff. They see a machine, they see an attachment out there, and everything on it has a purpose. Every weld, every little cut with the laser cutter or plasma or whatever it is cutting the metal out, there's a purpose for it. There's an engineer that has had a hand in designing that part for that cut to be made. In every little thing, there's somebody's had a hand in it, doing it. And people, they don't realize that oftentimes. They just see it and that's it.
Yeah. I know our employees are really proud when they see customers tagging us in pictures, seeing their products they built in action, and people being proud of using them. And yeah, it's a lot of pride for our employees, for sure.
You know, I do a lot of storm work, and I do, when the disaster happens, right after it happens, there's times when I don't charge anything for it. And I remember back in 20, when COVID first hit, we had a major tornado that come through in South Mississippi down there, a really bad one on Easter Sunday. And I remember going down there, drove down there. It was about 250 miles down there one way. I took my Kubota and a Rotobec and went down there with a church group to help them. And I remember getting back and sharing the pictures back with Jesse then at the time and telling him the story, you know, that, hey, we went down there, I took the Rotobec down there with me and worked for these people, did all I could do for as much time as I could spend down there for nothing. So your people that built the grapple, that designed it, that are in sales, that are in marketing, y'all all had a piece of me being able to go down there and help these people that had been affected by a storm in a negative fashion. And maybe kind of go through, I've got a great video that I've got saved that I'll share with you, but this lady, you know, just helping work through her yard and just seeing her smile. You know, smile's enough payment, you know, to do it. And I say it in a lot of my videos, and people wonder, how can you do stuff and how can you work for free like that sometimes? And it all boils down to this right here. In life, you only get what you give. And that's it.
That's so true.
It is. It is.
Thanks, Tim, for having us for the past 2 days with those two things right there behind the camera.
We got big camera guy, little camera guy.
It was a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah.
And like I said, I hope we're going to do this again in the future.
Sure.
And cheers to that. Cheers to the new Limb Reaper.
Oh, yeah. Cheers. Thank you.